1.4, and it is on regeneration, reheat and intercooling. So in this problem, the gas turbine cycle is employing all the three methods to improve the performance of it. The problem statement goes like this: a 4500 kilowatt gas turbine generating set operates with two compressor stages. The overall pressure ratio is 9.1, 9:1. A high pressure turbine is used to drive the compressor, and a low pressure turbine drives the generator. So there is a gas turbine plant and its generating capacity is 4500 kilowatt. There are two compressors, so intercooling is done. There are two turbines as well. One is driving both the compressors and another turbine separately driving the generator to give you the power of 4500 kilowatt. The temperature of the gases at entry to the high pressure turbine is 625 degrees Celsius, and the gases are heated to, actually it is reheated to 625 degrees Celsius after expansion in the first turbine. So here intercooling is being done as well as reheating. The exhaust gases leaving the low pressure turbine are passed through a heat exchanger to heat air leaving the high pressure stage compressor. That means regeneration is also done. The compressors have equal pressure ratios and intercooling is complete between the stages. So perfect intercooling is done. This is very important information. The air inlet temperature is 20 degrees Celsius. The isentropic efficiency of each compressor stage is 0.8 and the isentropic efficiency of each turbine stage is 0.85. The heat exchanger thermal ratio is 0.8. This is nothing but regenerator and its effectiveness. A mechanical efficiency of 95% can be assumed for both power shaft and compressors turbine shaft. Neglecting all pressure losses and changes in kinetic energy, calculate the thermal efficiency, work ratio of the plant, and the mass of air in kg per second. Neglect the mass of the fuel and assume the following. For air, CPA, that is a specific heat, 1.005 kilojoule per kg Kelvin and gamma 1.4. And for gases in the combustion chamber and in turbine and heat exchanger, CPG is equal to 1.15 kilojoule per kg Kelvin and gamma 1.33. It's a very long problem. Now let us first draw the schematic. As I say, the drawing of this schematic is optional. Every time I am showing this schematic just to have clear understanding of the different processes. Okay. So in examination, you need not to draw this because it takes a lot of time. But at the same time, it also enhances your understanding of the processes taking place in the given system. So here, as you can see here, 1 to 2 is isentropic compression in the low pressure compressor. 2 to 3 is pre-cooling. 1 to 2 is isentropic compression in the low pressure compressor. 2 to 3 is pre-cooling of the compressed air. So this is intercooler actually. Three to four isentropic compression in the high pressure compressor. Here pressure is atmospheric pressure P1. It is increased to some intermediate pressure Px, and once again pressure is increased from Px to final pressure P2 during the isentropic compression 3 to 4. Four to 5 is preheating of compressed air with the help of hot gases in the heat exchanger or regenerator. 5 to 6 is isobaric heat addition in the combustion chamber 1, where temperature to the required level is increased. 6 to 7 is isentropic expansion in the high pressure turbine. 7 to 8 is reheating of the gases from high pressure turbine to some required value of temperature T8. 8 to 9 isentropic expansion in the low pressure turbine, and finally 9 to 10 is subcooling of the hot gases in the regenerator by giving away heat to the compressed air. And after stage 10, finally gases are exhausted to the atmosphere, or it is returned to initial state if it is closed cycle gas turbine. Okay. Now all these processes can be shown on PV and TS diagram. Okay, so as you can see, 1 to 2 is isentropic compressor. Since compressor and turbine efficiencies are given, so processes are no longer remaining isentropic. 1 to 2 dash represents actual compression. 2 dash 3 represents intercooling. 3 to 4 represents isentropic compression in the high pressure compressor. 3 to 4 dash represents actual compression in the HPC. 4 dash 5 is 4 to 5 is actual intercooling, ideal intercooling, whereas 4 dash 5 dash represents actual intercooling in the intercooler. 5 to 6 represents isobaric heat addition in the combustion chamber 1, where 5 dash 6 represents actual heat addition in the combustion chamber 1. 6 to 7 represents isentropic expansion in the HPT. 6 to 7 dash represents actual expansion in the HPT. 7 dash 8 represents actual reheating. 7 to 8 represents ideal reheating. 8 to 9 actual expansion in the LPT. 8 to 9 represents ideal expansion in the LPT. 8 to 9 days represents actual expansion. Then 9 to 10 represents subcooling of the gas in the regenerator, whereas 9 days, 10 days represents actual subcooling of the gas. Okay. Same process can be shown on TS diagram as well, where all the processes and states shown by the red color are actual states. These are the states you are actually get in the cycle. So we have to concentrate on these states only. Okay. Now, given things. So first of all, you have been given the power generated by the gas turbine cycle. So it is 4500 kilowatt. And if you remember, there are two turbines. High pressure turbine is driving the compressors, and low pressure turbine, its output is generating, actually is utilized to drive the generator, and that generator is generating 4500 kilowatt. So W net is nothing but WLPT, because the only power output of LPT is used to drive the generator. So ideally I can say output of LPT is equal to output of gas turbine cycle. Then pressure ratio is given, P2 by P1, 9:1. Now in diagram, as you can see, there are no pressure losses. So P2 will be equal to P4 will be equal to P4 dash will be equal to P5, P5 dash, P6. That is the meaning. And P1 is equal to P1, P10, P9, P9 dash. I can write. Okay. P9 dash as well. Then T6 is the temperature after adding heat in the combustion chamber 1, 625 degrees Celsius, 898 Kelvin. What is this T6 actually? This T6. Similarly, T8, that is temperature of the gas after reheating during the process 7-8, is also 625 degrees Celsius, that is 698 Kelvin. So here I can assume T6 is equal to T8. So perfect reheating. You have been also given in the problem, pressure ratio in the compressors are same. That is Px by P1 is equal to P2 by Px. Also it is given, intercooling is complete. That is T4 is equal to T2. What does it mean? Once again, from 2 to 3, intercooling is done, and ideally, if intercooling is complete, T3 should be equal to T1. That is the meaning. Oh, I have written it wrongly. If intercooling is complete, T3 should be equal to T1. Okay. So pressure ratio is same in both the compressors and intercooling is complete. So it also means intermediate pressure I can take it as P1 into P2. Then inlet temperature to the compressor is given, that is air is being sucked from atmosphere at 20 degrees Celsius to 93 Kelvin. Isentropic efficiencies of both the compressors are same, 0.8. Similarly, isentropic efficiencies of both the turbines are same, 0.85. Effectiveness or thermal ratio of heat exchanger is given as 0.8, and mechanical efficiency of coupling is also 95%, 0.95. Then specific heat and gamma value for air and gases are given. They are different. Okay. Now, what is this mechanical efficiency? So let us get back to this schematic. See, this LPC and HPC turbines are connected to this HPT turbine with the help of this coupling. And as you know, coupling is a mechanical device, so there will be loss of power. That means whatever power is being supplied from HPT to both the compressors shaft will not be available. Some of the power will be lost, and that is due to mechanical efficiency of this coupling. Similarly, this LPT is connected to this generator through this coupling. So here also power will loss. Means whatever power output is supplied to the generator will not be available to the generator side. Only 95% of this will be available. That is due to mechanical efficiency. And in both the cases, the mechanical efficiency will be 95%. So see, this problem is very remarkable in the sense that with the help of this problem, you will be able to learn how to manage isentropic efficiency of compressors and turbines and mechanical efficiency also. Okay. Now, after drawing the required schematic representation of all the processes on PV and TS charts, in listing all the given things, now the third step is, let us make some assumptions. So assumption number 1, all the processes are steady state, are in steady state. Number 2 assumption, as it is given in the problem itself, no pressure losses in either of the processes. Number 3, no change in kinetic energy and potential energy of air and gas streams. Number 4 assumption, neglecting mass flow rate of fuel and hence fuel air ratio. Okay. So these are the assumptions I can take. Now in list find. So very first thing you are supposed to find out is thermal efficiency. Number 2, work ratio, and number 3, the mass flow rate of air. Now let us do the detailed calculations. So starting from process 1 to 2. Okay. Now for doing the calculations during the process 1 to 2, okay, let us start from process 1 to 2. So process 1 to 2 is isentropic compression. What does it mean? T2 by T1 is equal to Px by P1. This is the pressure ratio. And it is handling air. So adiabatic index of air will come into picture. Now I don't have the value of Px right now. Okay. I don't have the value of Px as well as I don't have the value of P1. So I don't have the value of this pressure ratio in the LPC stage and HPC stage. Okay. So what to do? Now I have been given intercooling is complete. So T3 is equal to T1, and we have also been given Px by P1 is equal to P2 by Px. Okay. So from here I can say Px will be square root of P1 P2. Now once again, I don't know the value of P1, so I have to get this value in terms of pressure ratio. So the condition of perfect intercooling also says that Px by P1 is equal to P2 by Px is equal to square root of P2 by P1. So this is the condition for perfect intercooling. We have discussed while discussing intercooling. Okay, now from here I can get this ratio Px by P1 to the P2 by Px. It is 9 divided by 1 is equal to 3. So Px by P1 is equal to P2 by Px 3. So I don't have, now I have the ratio pressure ratios in LPC and HPC stages. Now I can do the intermediate calculations. So let's say this was the equation 1 here. So now I can calculate T2. So from equation 1, T2 over 293 is equal to 3 1.4 minus 1 over 1.4. So the value of T2 I will get as 401.04 Kelvin. T2 is the temperature of the compressed air in first stage, after first stage. Now T2 is not the actual temperature what we would get. T2 dash is the actual temperature. So process 1 to 2 is an actual compression process. So when I am considering actual compression process, isentropic efficiency of LPC will come into picture, and that is H2 minus H1 to the H2 dash minus H1. CPA T2 minus T1 to the CPA T2 dash minus T1, and this is equal to 0.8. So T2 is 401.04 minus 293. T2 dash is to be calculated minus 293, 0.8. So T2 dash will be equal to 428.05 Kelvin. Correct? So what did I get actually? This I have the value of T1, I could get T2 and T2 dash. In the similar fashion, I can get the value of T4 dash, T4 first and T4 dash. T3 I know because the problem is saying T3 is equal to T1. Intercooling is perfect. Okay. So let us do this. So T3 is equal to T1 in the given, and it is 293 Kelvin. Now once again, one thing I would like to convey to you. See, intercooling is complete, means T3 is equal to T1, and the problem is also saying pressure ratios are same in both the compression stages. That means Px over P1 is equal to P2 by Px. Now what is happening in this process? If input temperature is same, T3, and pressure ratio is same, so if T3 is equal to T1, T4 is also going equal to T2. Similarly, T4 dash will be equal to T2 dash. So what is the point? If intercooling is perfect and pressure ratios in both the compression stages are same, no need to calculate for second stage. Simply just by writing since just by writing this sentence, since intercooling is perfect or complete, that is T3 is equal to T1, and pressure ratio in LPC is equal to pressure ratio in HPC. It means T4 will be equal to T2 and T4 dash will be equal to T2 dash. Even if you want to calculate, you can calculate, but you will get the same value. But just by using the concept, I am saving this time of solving this problem. Okay. So I could get T2 dash, I could get T4 dash. So let us calculate what will be WLPC. So it will be CPA T2 dash minus T1, and WHPC CPA T4 dash minus T3 dash, T3, and this will be equal to CPA T2 dash minus T1. So total compressor work will be W compressor is equal to WLPC plus WHPC. Because of perfect intercooling condition, this is going to be Cp T2 dash minus T1 plus Cpa T2 dash minus T1, or W compressor total will be twice of Cpa T2 dash minus T1. Okay. So I can calculate this total compressor work twice into 1.005. T2 dash is 428.05 minus 293. So compressor work I will get as 135.73 kilojoule per kg. This is the total work input to both the compressors. Okay. Actually, this is twice into 135.73. Actually, WHPC or WLPC, this value is 135.73 kilojoule per kg. So WC will be, that is total compressor work will be, you are correct. How much? 271.445 kilojoule per kg. This is correct actually. Okay, thank you for correcting me. Okay, now what is next step? Now before okay, now let us move to the process, regeneration process. So process 4-5- is an preheating of compressed air in regenerator. Okay, what is that? On PV and TS diagram, 4-5- is the actual preheating. This is the process 4 to 5 with the help of hot gases. So regenerator is nothing but heat exchanger, and for heat exchanger, its heat transferring ability is measured with the help of effectiveness. One more term has been used in this problem, thermal ratio, and it is given by Q actual to the Q max. What is Q actual? T5- what it will be? Let me get back to this diagram, PV and TS chart. T5- minus T4-. This is the actual rise in the temperature. What could be the maximum rise in temperature? T9- is the actual temperature available isn't it? See here. T9 is the actual temperature, ideal temperature. T9 dash is the actual temperature of the gas available. So maximum possible difference will be T9 dash minus T4 dash. So that way I can say T5 dash minus T4 dash, and maximum possible difference will be T9 dash minus T4 dash. Now 0.8 is the effectiveness of the heat exchanger given to you. Okay. Then T5 dash is not known to me. It is unknown temperature so far. T4 dash is 428.05. T9 dash is also not known to me. 428.05. Here two temperatures are unknown, T5 dash and T9 dash. So unless one of the temperature is known to me, I cannot calculate other. So let us assume this as equation 2. Okay. Now we will move on to the process 5-6. Process 5-6 is isobaric heat addition in the combustion chamber 1. So heat supplied during this process will be, now we have to neglect mass flow rate of air, and we have to neglect mass flow rate of fuel, sorry. So fuel air ratio is not coming into picture. So one method of calculating heat supplied is this: m dot f over m dot a into Cv. This is one formula, and another formula is m dot f plus m dot a plus 1. The specific heat, the enthalpy of gas will be T6 minus enthalpy of air, H5 dash. Okay. You got my point? What am I doing? I am considering process 5-6. So heat supplied during process, how can I calculate? By heat generated by burning the fuel, having fuel air ratio m dot f and calorific value Cv, and this entire heat will be utilized to increase the enthalpy of the gases from H5 dash to H6. H6 is the enthalpy of gas, H5 dash is the enthalpy of air. Okay. So these two formulae I have. So out of this I cannot use this because I don't have any idea about the fuel air ratio. So we have to neglect fuel air ratio. So I can use this formula. How? Q heat supplied during the combustion chamber 1, in the combustion chamber 1 during the process 5-6 will be, I can write it as H6 minus H5 dash. And in the problem itself it is mentioned we have to neglect mass flow rate of fuel. So mass fuel air ratio will be neglected. Now how can I write H6? H6 is the specific enthalpy of gas. So CPG into T6 minus H5 dash is enthalpy of air, CPA into T5 dash. So QS in the combustion chamber 1 can be calculated 1.15 is the CPG. T6 is 898 minus 1.005 into T5 dash. Now once again in this equation I don't have the value of T5 dash. So I will give this as equation number 3 and will move on to the next process. Now next processes I am going to consider is 6 to 7, 7 to 8 and 8 to 9. And these are isentropic compression expansion in the HPT. 6 to 7 is isentropic expansion in the high pressure turbine. 7 to 8 is isobaric reheating, and 8 to 9 is isentropic expansion in the low pressure turbine. So let us consider processes one by one. So first, process 6 to 7 is an isentropic expansion in high pressure turbine. So what does it mean? T6 over T7 is equal to T6 over P7, and turbine is handling gas, so adiabatic index for gas will come into picture. T6 is 698 Kelvin. T7 is not known to me. At the same time, P6 is known to me. P6 is equal to P2 actually. But actual value of P2 is not known to me. So I will write this pressure ratio as it is. And it is 1.333 minus 1 over 1.333. So this will be 698 over T7 is equal to P6 by P7, and this ratio will become 0.333 to the 1.333. Now in this equation I don't know this P6 by P7, that is P6 by P7 is the pressure ratio in high pressure turbine. It is not known to me. T7 is also not known to me. So again in this equation, two unknown variables are known. So I can leave it here only by giving it some number. Let's say equation number 4. Now how to solve this problem? Because neither the pressure ratio is given in high pressure turbine nor for low pressure turbine in the problem itself. Now to solve this problem, one very important concept is given, or important information rather. Very important information is given in the problem. High pressure turbine HPT is used to drive both the compressors. So what does it mean actually? Work output of HPT will be equal to work output of compressor. Okay. Actual work output of high pressure turbine will be equal to actual work input to the compressor. Okay. Now between compressors and turbine shaft there is a coupling. And this coupling is having mechanical work input. And in the start of the problem, we have calculated total compressor work input. So what is actually here mechanical efficiency is going here, how this mechanical efficiency is going to affect this work input to the compressor. This WC is the ideal compressor work input to the compressor. Okay, but considering the mechanical efficiency, turbine has to supply more work input required by the compressor. So actual compressor work input will be ideal work input to the compressor divided by mechanical efficiency. So this way we have to deal with the mechanical efficiency here. So please mind well how to deal with the mechanical efficiency in this case. Now WHPT will be CPG T6 minus T7 dash. Compressor work we have already calculated and this value is 271.45 and mechanical efficiency is 95%. So 271.45 divided by 0.95. This will be the actual compressor work input considering the mechanical efficiency of the coupling. CPG is 1.15, T6 is 698 minus T7 dash. This becomes 285.68. So from here T7 dash will be equal to 606 Kelvin. Okay. So what we did, let us have a recapitulate. First we considered the isentropic expansion in the HPT, but here pressure ratio in the HPT is not known to me, neither the T7. So to solve this problem, I recalled a very important information given in the problem is that the entire work output of HPT is used to drive the compressors, both the compressors. Compressor shaft and turbine shaft is connected with the coupling having mechanical efficiency 95%. So this way we have taken into consideration the mechanical efficiency, and considering that I could get the value of T7 days, that is actual temperature of gases after expansion in the HPT. So what will be the ideal temperature? T7. Okay, so for that now I have to consider ideal expansion. process, oh sorry, not ideal, actual. Process 627 dash is an actual expansion process in HPT. So here isentropic efficiency of HPT will come into picture, and it is H6 minus H7 days over H6 minus H7. This will be equal to CPG T6 minus T7 dash over CPG T6 minus T7. Isentropic efficiency of HPT is given as 0.85. Both these will get cancelled. T6 is 898. T7 dash is 650. Oh, sorry, this temperature is 650 Kelvin. T6 is once again 898. I had to calculate T7. So from here the value of T7 will come as 606 Kelvin. So I could get the value of T7 as 606 Kelvin. That is ideal temperature after expansion in the HPT. So now I can recall the T4, equation number 4, to get the value of this pressure ratio P6 by P7. So from equation 4, 898 divided by 606 is equal to P6 over P7, 0.333 divided by 1.333. So from here the value of P6 by P7 comes out 4.83, and this is the pressure ratio in high pressure turbine. Okay. Now let us move on to the next process. What is the next process? Process 7-8 is the reheating of the gas in the reheater. Okay. So here also heat is supplied in the combustion chamber too. So process 7-8 is isobaric heat addition in combustion chamber 2 or reheater. So I am interested to calculate this heat supplied in the combustion chamber 2. It can be given as CPG, because gas is involved, T8 minus T7 dash. QSCC2 will be 1.15. T8 is not known to me, T7 dash is known to me, and it is T7 dash is 650 Kelvin. Oh, T8 is also, sorry, T8 is also known to me. T8 is 898 minus 650. So heat supplied in the combustion chamber will be given by, this value comes out 389.85 kilojoule per kg. Now next process is isentropic expansion in the LPT. So process 8 to 9 is isentropic expansion in low pressure turbine. Okay. What is that process? So 8 to 9 days, 8 to 9 is isentropic expansion in the turbine. That means T8 over T9 is equal to P8 over P9 gamma G minus 1 over gamma G. T8 is 898. Now once again T9 is not known to me. So T9 is to be calculated. Now this P8 is actually P7 and P9 is actually P1. We have, okay, P9 is equal to P10 is equal to P1 and P8 is equal to P7. 1.333 minus 1 over 1.333. Now once again P7 is also not known to me and P1 is also not known to me. Okay, so how to solve this problem? So let's say this is equation number 5. Let me check whether I am putting the correct equation numbers. Yes. Now to get the value of P7 by P1, let us first recall what is known to me. So P2 by P1, this pressure ratio is known to me. I can also represent this as P6 by P1. Okay. Now I can also represent this by P6 by P7 into P8 by P1, okay, or P8 by P9, no issue. Okay, and this P2 by P1 is given to me as 9 and P6 by P1, from considering the ideal process, P6 by P7 is 4.83. That is pressure ratio in HPT. So it will be 4.83 into P8 by P1 or P7 by P9. So P8 by P1 or P7 by P1, because process 7 to 8 is isobaric process. There is no pressure loss, and from this the value comes out 1.86. And what is this? This is pressure ratio in low pressure turbine. So from equation 5 now, this is the equation 5. That is 898 divided by T9, 1.86 power 0.333 over 1.333. So T9 comes out 774.15 Kelvin. That is temperature of the gas after expansion in the LPT. Now consider process 8-9 dash, and process 8-9 dash is an actual expansion in the LPT. So efficiency of LPT will come into picture, that is H8 minus H9 dash to the H8 minus H9. So this will become, in terms of temperature, T8 minus T9 dash over T8 minus T9. Now isentropic efficiency of LPT is given to me 0.85, 898 minus T9 dash is to be calculated. 898 minus T9 is 774.15. So from here T9 dash will be 792.6 Kelvin. So after calculating T9 dash is equal to 792.6 Kelvin, now I can say I have all the temperatures at real end states: T1, T2 dash, T3, T4 dash, T6, T8, T9 dash, except T5 dash temperature. Now to get the value of T5 dash, we have to get back to process 4 dash 5 dash once again. This process 4 dash 5 dash is a preheating of compressed air in regenerator. So in this equation, equation number 2, 0.8 is equal to T5 dash minus 428.05 minus T9 dash minus 428.05. So we have the value of T9 dash. Now I can calculate T5 dash, and after calculating T5 dash from equation 2, from equation 3 I can calculate the value of heat supplied to the gas in combustion chamber from equation 3. So let us recall these two equations. So recalling equation 2, that is 0.8 is equal to T5 dash minus 428.05 to the 792.6 minus 428.05. So T5 dash will be 719.7 Kelvin. And after calculating T5 dash, now recalling equation 3. Will help me to calculate heat supplied in the combustion chamber 1. So this will be 1.15 into T6, that is 898 minus 1.005 into T5 dash, that is 719.7. So QSCC1 will be 309.40 kilojoule per kg. Okay. So with this, I am able to calculate all the intermediate parameters. Now let us do the calculations to get the parameters asked in the problem. So very first thing you have been asked in the problem is thermal efficiency. So thermal efficiency is nothing but W net to the total heat supplied. Okay. Where W net is net work output of the cycle, and in the problem it is given net work output of the cycle is nothing but actual work output from low pressure turbine. So W net will be, and this will be in kilojoule per kg. So this will be CPG T8 minus T9 dash. This is the work output from the LP turbine shaft, and this much power will be transferred through coupling, because this is LP turbine and it is connected to the generator through this coupling. So some of the power loss is taking place due to 95% of mechanical efficiency. So what will be the actual output available at the generator shaft? This much. So this will be the net work output of the cycle available to drive the generator. So 1.15 into 898 minus 792.6 into 0.95. So here once again please note how we have taken into consideration mechanical efficiency. So W net will be 115.02 kilojoule per kg. So this is the net work output of the cycle. Similarly, QS is total heat supplied in the cycle, and this is equal to heat supplied in the combustion chamber 1 plus heat supplied in the combustion chamber 2. These two values we have already calculated. So QS CC1 is 309.40, and QS CC2 is 389.85. The value of heat supplied in the combustion chamber 2 I have wrongly calculated. This is actually 285.2 kilojoule per kg. Please correct it. So this will be 285.2. So QS will be now 594.6 kilojoule per kg. This is the total heat supplied to the cycle. So thermal efficiency will be net work output 11502 divided by 594.6 into 100. So thermal efficiency comes out 19.34%. So this is the answer number 1. Then next one is work ratio. So as per definition, work ratio is the ratio of net work output to the turbine output. Net work output we are getting from LPT, and total turbine work output will be summation of HPT plus WLPT. So it will be 115.02 divided by WHPT is 285.68 and WLPT is 1.1150. So the work ratio will be 0.29. This will be answer 2. Okay. Here WHPT is CpG T6 minus T7 dash. Then last parameter to be calculated is mass flow rate of air. Now we have been given total power reduced W net or P is equal to 4500 kilowatt. Now this total W, this capital W net is nothing but mass flow rate of air into small w net from the LPT, 4500 kilowatt. So m dot A into 115.02, and unit we have to take into consideration kilojoule per kg, 4500 kilowatt. So from here the mass flow rate of air will come 39.12 kg per second. This will be answer. So this way you can solve the numerical. Thank you for your kind attention and passionate listening. Happy learning.